Epilogue. True reality is things as they were, as they are to come, and how they have always been, worlds without end. Anonymous. Human societies exist throughout the universe. There are an endless number of these societies, each located on its own planet, in its own solar system, and in its own galaxy. The life forms that live in these societies are human beings, whose appearance is similar to our current physical form. Human beings have always existed, and they always will exist. Throughout the universe, human beings are going through different stages of human development. These quote-unquote stages can be viewed as time periods of the past, present, and future. The ultimate state of human existence is in a perfect society around perfect human beings. Humans somewhere have always lived throughout the universe in this essential and perfected state. This state provides a human being with a perfect existence, which might be described as continual and lasting happiness. This human state is as perfect and infinite as the universe itself. Human beings exist in these societies in a state of quintessential happiness that complements the physical nature of their particular life form. This quote-unquote happiness is a state of ideal balance between the surrounding environment, the universe itself, and the human body. Perfect happiness occurs when the human body's sensory systems of sight, touch, smell, taste, sound, thought, and sex, for some, are absolutely satiated. The main objective of all human societies is to perpetuate the human race and this quote-unquote happiness. With highly advanced knowledge and technology that cannot be enhanced in any way, new human beings are created in these perfect worlds. The way of life experienced in these worlds cannot be improved upon to afford any greater degree of quote-unquote happiness than what is already experienced by advanced human beings. This ultimate human experience is the purpose for which the universe exists. The universe, therefore, exists for human beings. It always has, and it always will. There are no other life forms found anywhere in the universe as complex as human beings. There are also no other life forms that are consciously aware of their existence, nor are there any who form a relationship with their environment and with each other as humans are capable of doing. Most importantly, above all other attributes of life, only humans have the power of free will. It stands to reason that something in the universe must be the highest form of intelligence and possess the highest level of power. With this intelligence and power, any life form would utilize its existence and environment to benefit itself. Because humans are the highest form of intelligence, they take advantage of every other life form and matter that exists. It is because of human beings and for their sake that all other forms of matter are organized and created. The universe is a human universe, and all things exist for and are created and maintained by human beings. Because newly created humans are born into a perfect world initially, they have no sense or knowledge of their perfect situation. They are completely unaware of how wonderful it is to exist as a human being. They are oblivious and naive with respect to the extraordinary benefits of being the highest life form in the universe. Their primordial environment serves all of their intended human needs and provides all that is necessary for their quote-unquote happiness. They have the power to act upon and react to their environment according to their own free will. However, living in a perfect human society in which they begin to exercise their unique free will, newly created humans do not know how to use their exclusive powers of free will to act upon or react to their environment. They do not know how to walk, to float, or to fly, or in any other way to use their own energy to control the matter from which their perfect human body was created. They have no experience. Therefore, they do not have a past that would provide them with the experience to know how to exist as a human being. They do not know how to think or what to think, and left to themselves without guidance, they would be at the mercy of their surrounding environment. Their environment would act upon them, taking away their free will and forcing them to adapt to the will of their environment, instead of the other way around. Advanced, perfected human beings teach the newly created humans how to control their environment according to free will. They teach by example and demonstration exactly how to become the perfect human being. Because the newly created humans have no other experience from which to draw upon to form individual choices, they are quote-unquote required, in effect, to become humane, as are their perfected creators. In this way, our humanity is established. Our humanity is the way that we, as human beings, choose to act upon and react to our surrounding environment. Our humanity type is our personal choice, completely unfettered by the wishes of our advanced parents, whose only desire is that we choose the type that will bring us the most happiness. Our advanced parents assure us that we will be supported in whatever humanity type we choose for ourselves. Their responsibility ensures that each newly created human being establishes the humanity that makes each person one of the most ultimate life forms in the universe. Because our primordial parents are responsible for our foundationalized humanity, they ensure that how we use the power of our free will does not impede upon the free will of any other human being or frustrate the overall balance of the natural environments found in the universe. They also ensure that the use of our free will does not disrupt the way things have always been done in the universe. They assure universal order. We often share the same environment, planet, solar system, or galaxy with many other humans. We can do whatever we want to our surrounding environment, as long as what we do does not inhibit another human being from doing what they want to do in the same environment. Our free will to act cannot affect our shared environment in a way that others cannot also act upon it with their own free will. We are all equally powerful in the use of our own environment, according to what we determine brings us the most joy. Quote-unquote joy being the effect of quote-unquote happiness. During the foundationalization process of our humanity, we developed a sense of self apart from everyone else. This quote-unquote self is who we chose to become. It makes us a unique individual, different from any other human being who has ever existed or who will ever exist in the universe. Every human being that existed before our creation has always existed to us. We will never know of a time in our own existence when others did not exist. Likewise, all things being equally relative, we have also always existed, because we will never remember a time when we did not exist. Although our current imperfect brain cannot totally grasp and rationalize the concept that we have always existed, and that other humans have always existed. Once we receive again our perfect human body and live in a perfect society, we will understand the concept completely. We existed in a perfect world for eons of time, learning all there is to know about being human and about human perfection. Once our creators determined that we were ready, it was then time for us to have the opportunity to experience everything that is the opposite of human perfection. In experiencing a contrast to our true human nature, we could establish an appreciation for who we are. We would also learn to accept that there must be some limits and controls to the exercising of human free will. Once we knew all there was to know about ourselves and everything there was to know about our universe, we were ready to move on to our very own planet, in our own solar system, in our own galaxy. It is here where we would be able to stake our personal claim to a part of the infinite universe. After we were properly foundationalized, our parents helped us to create the right amount of planets at just the right size to accommodate each of our individual needs and wants in our new solar system. Or rather, we influenced our creators according to our individual needs and wants, and they used their power to do the actual creating. Each solar system is placed in a galaxy of many other solar systems that fall under the jurisdiction and responsibility of individual creators. Although there are just as many galaxies in the universe as there are creators, an infinite number, only one galaxy and one solar system within that galaxy pertains to us, unless we choose to become creators ourselves and create our own galaxy of infinite solar systems. Before the planets of our solar system are formed into perfect worlds, like the one where we were created, one of them, Earth, was utilized to allow an imperfect world to develop without or with very little advanced human intervention. We, the collection of each of our essences, of whom each of us actually is, were placed on this world so that we could experience what happens when there is no control over our free will or the natural environment. We were given a body that conformed to the environment of an imperfect world. Therefore, it is in an imperfect body that we cannot remember anything about what we learned before we were born upon earth. Unrestrained in the use of the power of our free will to control our environment and ourselves, we could then experience the effects of our individual humanity. We prove to ourselves what happens when certain humanity types gain power and control over others. We see what happens when others exercise dominion and power over us by taking away our free agency, sometimes because of the physical need to survive, but often because of personal greed. Living on Earth, we see what happens when free-willed humans protect their own right to exercise their free will in spite of what their actions do to another. In our imperfect world, we are forced to experience widespread inequality. Here, on this imperfect world, we experience what happens when we are allowed the ability to exercise all of our sensory systems, which includes the ability to create new life through sex. We see what happens when we foundationalize newly created beings incorrectly. We also experience what it is like to be subjected to the influence of our environment through natural disasters, sickness, and the wild forces of the plant and animal kingdoms that afflict us and cause us misery and physical pain and suffering. This imperfect world provides us with every experience that is opposite of the perfect human world. We can only hope for a more perfect world while living upon this earth, because we do not have the ability to remember anything about our existence except what we experience upon this earth. And because we cannot remember anything beyond our current existence, we don't understand why we even hope for a better world. But we do. Quote unquote, hope is the intrinsic measure of our humanity, or better, that which we feel can be possible in spite of the improbabilities that seem to be part of our present experience. See Chapter 1, Section 36. Once our creators have determined that we've experienced enough opposition, they will come to our solar system with smiles on their faces and joy in their hearts that our time here upon planet Earth has been successful for each of us. Once they explain to us the purpose for which we exist, and more thoroughly, why they allowed us to exist this way without knowing of them or being aware of their intervention, then we will smile and laugh with them. Then we will understand. We will see the great importance of our time in an imperfect world, and we'll be surprised to learn that everything we have accomplished, everything we have learned, everything we have thought, everything we have aspired to be, even everything we have desired to possess, are all nothing compared to what we had once before in a perfect human world. We will learn that everything about our world is imperfect, and that nothing that created this imperfection will ever exist in our future. We will understand this even before the planets of our solar system are transformed into perfect human worlds like the one where we used to live. We have something that no other life form upon our earth possesses. We have an imagination. Although we are often convinced that the use of our imagination is not a part of our true reality, it still remains our only source of information of what a perfect human world could possibly be like. Our imagination is our connection to our past experience and to our future potential. We have progressed in the way that we control our surrounding environment and get it to do what we want it to do by using our imaginations. Technology is simply the end result of using our free will and imagination. We utilize technology to, hopefully, improve our world and its social and physical environments. We want these environments to benefit our human natures. As technology seems to advance faster than our current ability to imagine, we are beginning to see that the imagination of our past is becoming the true reality of our future. For this reason, this book has only explained a basic, minuscule part of our complete human reality. The rest of what any of us could possibly want to know about ourselves and the primordial, advanced world in which we were first created, or the world that would be perfect for each of us, is accessible through the proper use of our imagination. Because imagination is a product of human free will, it also must have some specific limits and controls in place in order for it to serve us properly in better understanding our true reality. Because each of us has an essence in which is recorded all of our unique, personal, past experiences, we cannot expect that the conclusions of our own imagination supersede all those of others. We must accept that our imagination is not true reality, but a conscious effort each of us is personally trying to make in order to make sense of what we feel is right for us. We must be willing to accept that we have an imperfect brain that cannot fully access what is recorded in our essence, and we must accept the purpose for which we currently have an imperfect brain. We live upon this earth purposefully to experience the opposite of all that would otherwise make us very happy. It was intended to be this way for our development and learning. Nevertheless, we have our free will, and by way of this book, we now have a better understanding of how to use our unique human power to change our world and form it into one that will benefit all of us equally. We have forgotten, or better, we can't remember just how powerful we really are as human beings. We let others rule over us and control us. We let others set expectations for us and tell us how we should be. This is our final chance to get our act together and prove our humanity. Having humanity, how can we sit by and watch billions of our fellow human beings suffer the effects of poverty when we know there is a simple way to provide equally for every human being upon this earth, i.e., humanityparty.com? How can our humanity endorse the punishment of others who, like ourselves, are only doing the best they are capable of doing in an imperfect body? How can our humanity continually support and justify the killing of other human beings for any reason? How can our humanity justify the destruction of our natural environment and the squander of its limited resources just because we think we have a greater need to fulfill our own needs than those of others? We can hope for a better world of peace, equality, and plenty for all because we once lived in one. We lived in a world where each individual was given the power and ability to exercise free will for the sake of the individual's own balance and happiness. Can we imagine all the people living life in peace? Can we imagine a perfect human world? Yes, we can. We can because we lived in one before, and the experiences we had there are recorded in our essence. Don't take the chance of not considering and heeding the true realities presented in this book. Don't make an excuse of why you didn't open up your mind. Don't blame your inability to imagine on a stifled, false sense of reality that was not formed by you, but for you by others. Don't take the chance that your personal humanity type, that which you truly have become by acting with the power of your free will, is responsible for any part of our imperfect human world. Before other, more advanced human beings come to this earth to save us from ourselves, we now have the opportunity to demonstrate our true humanity. Each of us has the power to become who we each chose to become. We cannot let any other take that power from us. We must be who we are. How can we claim individuality and personal responsibility when all that we know comes from outside of our true self? We must claim victory in the ongoing battle within us between who we really are and who the imperfect world expects us to be. We must not give up the battle for free will. It is free will that makes a human being. It is free will that brings us balance and happiness. If we lose our free will, we will lose ourselves. And at last, keep this in mind. None of us can run away and hide from the true reality of who we are. One day, we will once again receive the perfect human body in which we will finally be able to remember all of our experiences from our primordial creation throughout our many lifetimes upon this earth. With this perfected body, we will finally and completely understand human reality, who we are, and why we exist. Note from the publisher: Pearl Publishing, LLC holds all legal rights to this book. Pearl Publishing, LLC is a small publishing company that the anonymous author of this book has assigned as the author's agent. It is the author's desire, as well as the publisher's, to attempt worldwide distribution of this book. Because Pearl Publishing, LLC has few resources and connections to facilitate a major release and promotion of this book, it has legal authority to offer and assign the rights of this book to any other publisher that might find this book a worthy and profitable cause. Again, the author's sole purpose and desire is to make the book known and available to the entire world. Any publishing company or representative interested in owning the rights to this book can contact Pearl Publishing, LLC for further information. About the author. Because real truth embodies all things as they are, as they were, and as they always will be, no one can take personal credit for its authorship. Real truth just is. The author of human reality, who we are and why we exist, wants no part of the accolades or compensation, monetary or otherwise, that might be associated with this presentation of real truth. The author has transferred the legal and copyrights of this work to the publishing company that has agreed to publish and market this book. Any royalties or profits from its sale are the sole property of the publishing company and managed at its own discretion. The purpose for allowing a publishing company such comprehensive rights is to improve the marketability and availability of this very important work, therefore allowing as much exposure to it as possible according to current publishing and marketing trends. Any human being could have written this book, if that person were allowed full access to all of his or her past memories. But because our current imperfect human brains do not allow such access, the information was given through this author. The author was chosen and authorized by those who know real truth to present it in the form of this book, written in the English language. Any subsequent translations of this book into a language other than English imposes the risk of losing some of the authenticity of its true meaning. No matter who one might speculate or infer wrote this book, the author will always remain anonymous.